Good morning students and Sairam. So today again I welcome you all in geography class. In this video we will continue geography second chapter, that is the physical features of India, and this is part 3. So before proceeding further, let's take a quick recap what we have already discussed in the part 2. So in part 2 we have discussed two important physiographic division. First one is the Himalaya, second one is the northern plains. So the Himalaya, that means the mountains, geologically young and fold mountain, is stretched over the northern part of India. Now the Himalayas consist three parallel ranges. First one is the Greater Himalayas, right? First range is parallel range is Greater Himalaya. It is also known as Inner Himalayas or the Himadri. Second is the Himachal. Basically Himachal, it's lie south of the Greater Himalaya. This is the second important parallel range of Himalaya, Himachal or the Lesser Himalayas. And the last one is the outermost range of the Himalaya, is known as Shivalik. So these are the important three parallel ranges of the Himalayas. Now the second thing is again the division of Himalayas on the basis of region. So on the basis of region, from west to east, Himalayas divided into four. First one is the Punjab Himalayas, second is the Kumaon Himalayas, third one is the Nepal Himalayas, fourth one is the Assam Himalayas. So Punjab Himalayas, basically the part of Himalayas lying between the Indus River and the Shatluj River. Right? Punjab Himalayas, basically the part of Himalayas lying between the Indus River and the Shatluj River. Next one is the Kumaon Himalaya. So Kumaon Himalaya, that means the part of Himalayas lying between the Shatluj River and the Kali River. Right? So the part of Himalayas lying between the Shatluj and Kali referred as the Kumaon Himalaya. Next one is the Nepal Himalayas. Nepal Himalayas, that means the part lying between the Kali River and the Tista River. And the last one is the Assam Himalaya. Assam Himalayas, the part of Himalayas lying between the Tista and the Dihang rivers. So this division of Himalayas is based on the region from west to east. Punjab Himalayas, Kumaon Himalayas, Nepal Himalayas, and the last one is the Assam Himalayas. Now the next important physiographic feature of India, the northern plains. So basically the northern plains are formed of three important river system: the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. Now these plains is formed of the alluvial soil, and these plains lying at the foothills of the Himalayas over millions of years, and they formed this fertile plain. Now the area cover, it's about 7 lakh square kilometer, and it's being about 2400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad, and it is very densely populated region of the country. Now next thing is the northern plain is divided into three sections, right? Northern plain is divided into three sections. First one is the Punjab plains, second is the Ganga plains, and the third one is the Brahmaputra plain. So first one is the Punjab plain. So Punjab plain, that means the western part of northern plain formed by the Punjab plain. Now this basically plain formed by the Indus River along with its tributaries. Clear? Punjab plain, that means the western part of northern plain formed by the Punjab plain, and the rivers flow here, Indus and its tributaries. Next one is the Ganga plain. Ganga plain, the middle stretch of the northern plain formed by the Ganga plains, like the Ganga and its tributaries. Now the Ganga and tributaries from the Ganga plain region. And the last one is the Brahmaputra. So the eastward part of the northern plain formed by the Brahmaputra plain, basically this region formed by the Brahmaputra and its tributaries. So together they just form Brahmaputra plain, and these plains lie in the Assam region. So this is based on location. So northern plain is divided into three sections: Punjab plains, Ganga plain, and the last one is the Brahmaputra plain. Next one is according to the variations in the relief feature. Next division of northern plain is based on relief feature. So the northern plain are divided into the four regions. First one is the Bhabar belt, second one is the Tarai, third one is the Bhangar, and the last one is the Khadar. So northern plain basically, first of all, based on location, it is divided into three: Punjab plain, Ganga plain, and Brahmaputra plain. And the next division is based on the relief feature, and on that way the northern plain are divided into the four regions: Bhabar belt, Tarai, Bhangar, and the Khadar. Is it clear? Okay. Now move on to the next topic basically. So these two physiographic division we have already discussed. Now move on to the third one, the Peninsular Plateau. Then after that we will discuss the Indian desert, the coastal plain, and the last one is the islands. So let's start with the third one, Peninsular Plateau. So Peninsular Plateau basically it's covered the middle part of India. Okay. About the Peninsular Plateau we have already discussed in part 1, like how this Peninsular Plateau was formed. So the first thing is, this is the oldest landmass of India. And how it was formed? It was formed after breaking and drifting of Gondwana land. Basically this Peninsular Plateau was the part of Gondwana land, and after breaking and drifting it was separated from the Gondwana land. Clear? So Peninsular Plateau is the tableland which contain igneous and metamorphic rock, and as I said, it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. Clear? Second thing is, now this Peninsular Plateau consists two broad division. How many? Two broad division. Now this Peninsular Plateau is further divided into two. First, the Central Highland, and the second one is the Deccan Plateau. Clear? Peninsular Plateau is divided into two divisions. First is the Central Highlands, and the second one is the Deccan Plateau. Broad and shallow valley and the rounded hills are the characteristic feature of this plateau. Okay. Now, one of the important feature of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area, and which is known as the Deccan Trap. Now this black soil, it's originated from the volcanic eruption, and thus it has the igneous rock. So one of the important feature of this Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area, and this black soil area originated from the volcanic eruption. Okay, now as I said, like the Peninsular Plateau is divided into two divisions. First one is the Central Highland, and the next one is the Deccan Plateau. Okay, now let's understand one by one. First one is the Central Highland, and then we will understand about the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so the Central Highland. So Central Highland, okay, Central Highlands lie in the north of Narmada River, right? Narmada River drain in this region. So this Central Highlands, it's lie in the north of Narmada River and covering the major part of Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau is also located here. Clear? Malwa Plateau is also located here. So Central Highland, first of all, it's lie in the north of the Narmada River and covering the major part of the Malwa Plateau. Now the second thing about the Central Plateau, this Central Plateau, it's bounded by the Aravalli Hills in the northwest direction, and here is the Vindhya range. Vindhya bounded by the Central Highlands in the south. Now the next one is the Deccan Plateau. The second division of Peninsular Plateau is the Deccan Plateau, and this Deccan Plateau, is lie in the south of Narmada river. Central Highland it's lie in the north of the Narmada, and Deccan Plateau it's lie in the south of Narmada. Second thing is basically the Deccan Plateau. This plateau is bounded by the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Clear? Deccan Plateau is bounded by the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Okay. So, first one is the Central Highland. Is it clear the location of the Central Highland? So, first of all, this Central Highlands, it's lying to the north of Narmada river and covering the major part of the Malwa Plateau. So, Malwa Plateau is located in the Madhya Pradesh. So, this is known as the Central Highland. Second is the Vindhya Range. Vindhya Range is bounded Central Highland on the south, right, and the Aravalli Hills on the northwest. So Central Highlands are bounded by the first is Vindhya Range in the south and Aravallis in the northwest. Next, the flow of the rivers draining this, the flow of region, sorry, it's a flow. The flow of the rivers draining this region, namely the Chambal, Sindh, the Betwa, is from southwest and to the northeast. Now the next thing is the eastward extension of this plateau are locally known as Bundelkhand. That means the eastern part, basically the Central Highland, eastern part marks Bundelkhand and the Baghelkhand, and the Chota Nagpur is the further eastward extension of the Central Highland. Clear? So, first of all, the eastward extension of the Central Highland is locally known as Bundelkhand, and the Chota Nagpur Plateau is the further eastward extension of the plateau drained by the Damodar river. Next, the Deccan Plateau, the second division of the Peninsular Plateau, Deccan Plateau. So, the Deccan Plateau, it's lie in the south of Narmada river. It is in triangular landmass, right? Deccan Plateau, it is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. Now, the Satpura range flanks its broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kamur Hills and the Mekal range form its eastern extension. So, we can say that the Deccan Plateaus bounded by the eastern Ghat and the Western Ghat, and Kamur Hill, Mekal ranges and Mahadev marks the eastern part of this plateau. Next thing is an extension of the plateau is visible in the northeast known as the Meghalaya, right, and the North Charcher Hills. It is separated by a fault from the Chota Nagpur Plateau and the important prominent hill ranges from west to east. Starting from west to east are the Garo Hills, the Khasi Hills and the Jayanti. So is it clear the difference between the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau? First, Central Highlands lie in the north of Narmada. Clear? And second one is the Deccan Plateau. It's lie in the south of the Narmada river. So this is the Deccan Plateau, and above the Narmada this is the Central Highland. Now the second thing is Central Highlands bounded by the Aravalli Hills, and here is the Vindhya Range, and the eastward extension here is the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Next one is the Deccan Plateau. So Deccan Plateau is lie in the south of Narmada river, and the second thing is this is bounded by the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghats. Clear? Okay. Now let's understand first the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghat. So this is the Eastern Ghat and this one is the Western Ghat. Western Ghat, and here is the Deccan Plateau. Western Ghat marks the western edge of Deccan Plateau and Eastern Ghat marks the eastern edge of the Deccan Plateau. Now, Western Ghat. Western Ghat is stretched from Tapi River. Tapi River flow in this region from Tapi to the Kanyakumari, and the Eastern Ghat is stretched from the Narmada Valley in the north and the Nilgiris in the south. Now, next thing is the Western Ghat. Western Ghat basically is the higher than the Eastern Ghat. So, the average height of Western Ghat is about 900 to 1600 meter, and the Eastern Ghats average height is about 600 meter. Western Ghat is the source of large river, and the Eastern Ghat basically it's not a source of the large river. Western Ghat is the continuous and can be crossed through passes only, and the Eastern Ghat basically divided into the many division by the rivers. Now, if we talk about the important highest peak, so the Western Ghats, so the highest peak of Western Ghats, Anemudi and the Doda Beta, and Mahendragiri is the highest peak of the Eastern Ghat. Now, next one is the Western Ghat. Basically, Western Ghat receive orographic type of rainfall. That means the southwest monsoon winds coming from the Arabian Sea. Cause heavy rainfall in the Western Ghat, and the Eastern Ghat basically it's parallel to the monsoon that's coming from the Bay of Bengal, so it does not receive much rainfall. So this is the difference between the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Okay, now let's read. Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat, as I said, marks the western and eastern edge of the Deccan Plateau. Second, Western Ghats like parallels to the western coast, and they are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghat. Average height of the Western Ghat is about 900 to 1600 meter. Now, the Western Ghats are known by the different local names. The height of the Western Ghat progressively increase from north to south. Now, the highest peak. The highest peak of the Western Ghats, Anemudi, height 2695 meter, and second one is the Doda Beta, 2637 meter. And if we talk about the famous hill stations located in this region, Ooty and the Kodaikanal are also located in the Western Ghat. Is it clear about the Eastern Ghat and the Western Ghat, the difference between the Eastern Ghat and the Western Ghat? Move on to the next physical feature of India, the Indian desert. So let's first locate the location of Indian desert. So it is located, so first of all, here is the Aravalli range. It is located in the western part of India. It lies to the western margin of Aravalli, the Indian desert, Marusthali, right? Okay, now let's read about the Indian desert. First of all, it's lie towards the western margin of Aravalli hills, right? It is almost covered, plain covered with the sand dunes. Sand dunes, that means mountain hill-like structure. Now, this region gets very less rainfall, right? Which is less than below 150 millimeter per year. Now, if we talk about the climate of Indian desert, so the climate of Indian desert is very hot. So the vegetation is also very less in this region. Next is Luni. Luni is the only large river in this drain in this region, but some other streams appear during the time of rainy season. Now just kindly note down about the Luni river. Luni is a river of the western Rajasthan. It is originated in the Pushkar valleys of the Aravalli ranges and ends in the marshy region of the Run of Kutch in Gujarat. Clear? Now next one is the crescent shaped dunes, basically that is known as the Barchan. Crescent shaped dunes, that is known as the Barchan, also cover the largest part of this region. but longitudinally dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan boundary, and it can be seen in Jaisalmer and the Rajasthan. Now move on to the next physical feature of India, the coastal plain. Students, as you all know, India has a long coastline, about 6,000 meter, that surrounds to the Peninsular Plateau. So the coastal plain is the narrow strip of plain lie between the western ghat lie between the ghats and the sea. That means the western ghat and the eastern ghat, and the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So the Peninsular Plateau is flanked by the stretch of narrow coastal strip running along the Bay of Bengal on the east and the Arabian Sea on the west, comprising coastal plains. Clear? Second thing is, now the western coast sandwiched between the western ghats, basically the western coast. Now the coastal plains, there are two, western coastal plains and the eastern coastal plains. Now the western coastal plains basically lie between the western ghat and the Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea is also located in western side, right? So western coastal plains lie between the western ghat and the Arabian Sea. Now next thing is, the western coastal plain is consists three section. Western coastal plain consists three section. First one is Konkan, second one is the Kannada plain, and the third one is the Malabar coast. Okay, now let's locate all these coastal plains on the map. So as I said, like the western ghat, here is the western ghat, and this is the western coast region, and here is the Arabian Sea. So western coast is lie between the western ghat and the Arabian Sea. Now the western coastal plain is consist three section. First one is the Konkan coast, second one is the Kannada coast, and the last one is the Malabar coast. So let's start with the first Konkan coast. So the northern stretch of this coast referred as the Konkan coast. The northern stretch of western coastal plain referred as the Konkan coast, and Konkan coast is stretched from the Gujarat to Goa, and the Mumbai is the biggest port of India, also located in this region. Next one is the Kannada plain. So the middle stretch of western coastal plain referred as the Kannada plain, and the last one is the Malabar coast. So the southern part of the western coastal plain referred as the Malabar coast, and this extend from the Goa to the Kumari. So this is the division of the Western Ghat. Western Ghat is divided into three sections. First one is the Konkan, second one is the Kannada plain, and the third one is the Malabar coast. Clear? Now, next one is, the plains along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level. In the northern part, it is referred to as the northern circus, while the southern part is also known as the Coromandel. So as like western coastal plain, eastern coastal plain is also divided into two sections. So first one is the northern stretch of this northern coastal plain is referred as northern circus, and the southern stretch of the eastern coastal plain referred as the Coromandel coast. Now, western coastal plain divided into three sections: Konkan, Kannada, and Malabar coast, right? And even the same eastern coastal is divided into two sections: the northern and the southern stretch. So northern stretch referred as northern circus, and the southern stretch referred as the Coromandel coast. Now, the large rivers like the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri have formed extensive delta on the Coromandel coast. Next one is the Chilika Lake. Chilika Lake, it is located in the Orissa, so it is an important feature along the eastern coast. It is the largest salt water lake. Just kindly note down this point. It is the largest salt water lake in India and lies in the state of Odisha to the south of Mahanadi Delta. Is it clear? Western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain. So first of all, coastal plain is a narrow strip plains lie between the Western Ghats, that means Ghats, and the sea. Here is the Arabian Sea and here is the Bay of Bengal Sea. So, Western coastal plain and the Eastern coastal plains basically lie between the Ghats and the seas. Second thing is the Western Ghat. First of all, the Western coast. Western coast is divided into three divisions. First one is the Konkan coast, second one is the Kannad plain, and third one is the Malabar coast. And even the same Eastern coastal plain is also lie between the Eastern Ghat and the Bay of Bengal, and second thing is it is also divided into two sections. The northern stretch of this plain referred as the northern Sikas and the southern stretch is referred as the Coromandel coast. Now move on to the next feature of India, the islands. Students, you all have seen that India has a vast land, but beside this, country has two island groups. Can you identify these two island groups on the map? So basically, India has two island group. First one is the Lakshadweep and second one is the Andaman and Nicobar. So let's first locate the location of Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar island. So Lakshadweep, it's lie very close to the Malabar coast of the Kerala. That means it is located in the Arabian Sea. And Andaman Nicobar, it's located in the Bay of Bengal. So India has two group of island, Lakshadweep and Andaman. Now Lakshadweep Islands is lie close to very close to the Malabar coast of Kerala, and this Lakshadweep island is composed of small coral. A small coral, that means that is the skeleton of the marine animals called the polyps. That's why Lakshadweep Island is also known as the coral island. Right? A small coral means that is the skeleton of the marine animals called polyps. So Lakshadweep Island is composed of the small coral. Now the earlier name of the Lakshadweep known as the Lakshadweep, Minicoy, and the next one is in 1973 these were named as Lakshadweep Island. Now this Lakshadweep Islands basically cover a very small area, about 32 square kilometer. Next island group is the Andaman and Nicobar island groups. They just form an elongated chain of the islands in Bay of Bengal. Now the Andaman Nicobar islands, they are bigger in size, more numerous and scattered. This group of island divided into two categories. First, the Andaman in the north, and the next one is the Nicobar in the south. Now these island groups are of the great strategic importance for the country. Now they both have the great diversity of flora and fauna. Basically Andaman and Nicobar island, it's lie very close to the equator. So this island experience equatorial type of climate and also have the thick forest cover. Now next thing is the capital. So Kavaratti is the capital of the Lakshadweep Island and the Port Blair is the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands capital. Clear? Last is conclusion, basically a detailed account of different physiographic division highlights the unique feature of each region. Each region basically complements to the other and make the country richer in its natural resources. Like for example, the northern mountain are the major source of water and forest wealth. The northern plains are the granaries of the country. And if we talk about the plateaus, the peninsular plateaus is a storehouse of the minerals. Basically, they just played a very important role in the industrialization of the country. Next is the coastal region and the islands groups. So the coastal region and the island groups, they just provide site for fishing and port activities. So does the diverse physical feature of the land have immense future possibility of development. So here your second chapter of geography is also done. Okay, now let's move on to the map activity. So on an outline map of India, you will be required to locate and label the following. So let's locate all these ranges, ghats, peaks, plateaus, coastal plains on the outline map of India. So let's first locate important mountain ranges. So first one is the Karakoram range, the Shivalik, the Aravalli range, the Vindhya, and the last one is the Satpura range. So first one is the Karakoram range. So Karakoram range lie in Jammu Kashmir. Karakoram range. Clear? Now the next one is the Shivalik. So Shivalik basically it's a Himalayan range. So this is the Shivalik range. Next one is the Aravalli ranges. So Aravalli ranges lie in the Rajasthan. Here is the Aravalli ranges. Now next one is the Vindhya and the Satpura. So Vindhya and Satpura, both the ranges lie in the Madhya Pradesh. So first one is the Vindhya and the next one is the Satpura. So these are the important mountain ranges: Karakoram range, then Shivalik range, Aravalli in Rajasthan, then Vindhya and the Satpura in Madhya Pradesh. Clear? Now next one is the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghats. So Western Ghat, western side, and this is the Eastern Ghat. So this is the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat, and this is the Eastern Coastal Plain and the Western Coastal Plain, and here is the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So Eastern Coastal Plain and the Western Coastal Plains lie between the Ghats and the sea. Next, important mountain peaks. First one is the K2 and next one is the Kanchenjunga. So where is K2? K2 is located in Jammu Kashmir, right? And next one is the Kanchenjunga. So Kanchenjunga is located in Indian here. Clear? So K2, it is in Jammu and Kashmir, and the next one is the Kanchenjunga, it is in Sikkim. Now the next one is the important plateau. So let's first locate the Deccan Plateau, Chota Nagpur Plateau and the Malwa Plateau. So where is the Malwa Plateau? Here is the Malwa Plateau. Basically Central Highland. So the Central Highland basically covered the large part of the Malwa Plateau. And here is the Deccan Plateau, and this part is covered by the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Clear? Now next one is the coastal plains. So Konkan, Malabar, and the last one is the Coromandel. So first of all, as I told you, Western Coastal Plain and the Eastern Coastal Plain. So basically it is Western Coastal Plain is divided into three sections, right? So the northern stretch is referred to as Konkan, and the middle stretch referred as Kannad, and the southern stretch of this coastal plain Malabar. Clear? And if we talk about the eastern coastal plain, so the northern stretch of the eastern coastal plain, northern Sikkim, and the southern stretch of this coastal plain, Coromandel. Clear now? I hope now you all able to fill all these locations on the outline map of India. Clear? Now what you have to do, you have to prepare notes of this chapter. So for that you have to watch all these part of this chapter. Clear? So that's all for today. Have a nice day and thank you.